Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Saturday, April the 17th. We've got a small Saturday slate. We just got 5 games tonight, but as always guys, we're going to go team by team. I'm going to take a look at each game on the slate. I'll give you guys my early thoughts, what does stand out to me looking at the slate on Friday night. But as always, before we do get started with the video, with the breakdown, I'd appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. And if you are new to the channel here, be sure to click that subscribe button as well. Click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload, and you also get notified every time I go live. Now, on the weekends, they're kind of off and on when it comes to live streams. I don't know if I'll be live for this slate, but if I do go live, it'll probably be a little bit later than usual just because we do have a later lock tonight. Lock's at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So if I'm able to go live Saturday, or if I do go live, I should be live on my YouTube channel around 5 Eastern if you guys want to check the channel then. But yeah, it's to be determined. Usually on the weekends, it's not for sure or for certain if I'm going to stream. But if I can, I will try and go live for this short slate. But yeah, guys, we're going to go through each game and talk about this 5-game slate. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start off with the Detroit and Washington game. And starting off on the Detroit side, this will definitely be a team to pay attention when it comes to injuries. So Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, Corey Joseph, Hamidou Diallo, Wayne Ellington, Dennis Smith Jr., and Rodney McGruder were all out on Friday. This is a back-to-back for the Pistons. I expect Jeremy Grant to be back. He was out for rest, so I'm assuming that, he rested Friday so that he could play today. Same with Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee was out for rest, so I'm assuming he'll be back for today. Corey Joseph, though, was out with an ankle injury, so he actually is injured. We don't exactly know if he'll be in or out. This is definitely one that just up in the air right now. Hamidou Diallo was ruled in, but then he got ruled out a few minutes after that, so we don't know if he's going to play. I'm pretty sure Wayne Ellington was out for rest. Yeah, he was out for rest, so I expect he'll be back. Dennis Smith Jr., though, he was out with a knee injury, so there's a chance he could maybe not play. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And then Rodney McGruder was out with an elbow injury, so really, it's tough to break down this Detroit team right now until we get word on, who's going to be in or out. Jeremy Grant, assuming that he does play, I do have some interest in at 6,500. Really good matchup here against the Wizards. The price tag on Jeremy Grant looks pretty nice on DK. Like 6,500 is definitely too cheap for him in a good matchup like this. He is someone I do have a lot of interest in if he's able to play today. Now, Josh Jackson, Saddiq Bey both had really good games on Friday night. I think they really benefited with Jeremy Grant out. But even with Jeremy Grant returning, most likely returning, I think we can still look to guys like Saddiq Bey and Josh Jackson, especially Saddiq Bey, just because he continues to get big minutes. Like even with Jeremy Grant playing, we've seen Saddiq Bey playing 30-plus minutes a night, played 31 and 35 minutes their last 2 games. He's been relatively productive as well in a good matchup against the Wizards. Even if Jeremy Grant plays today, I still have a decent amount of interest in Saddiq Bey just because, out of all the Detroit guys, he's one of the guys that I expect minutes to be secure. Like I think regardless, he's going to play around 30-plus minutes. So I do like Saddiq Bey a good amount on both sides. He is super cheap on Yahoo. He was very popular on Yahoo on Friday night. I don't think he'll be as popular today if Jeremy Grant winds up playing, but I still do like Saddiq Bey here. $14, super cheap on Yahoo as well. And then Josh Jackson, the minutes are always up and down with a guy like Josh Jackson, but he has shown when he does get the minutes, he can be productive. He did have a really good game on Friday night. Jeremy Grant returning, does hurt Josh Jackson a little bit. His minutes won't be as secure with Grant in there, but still, if you want to take a shot on him, I don't mind him at 5,100. If Hamidou Diallo remains out, if Corey Joseph remains out, that does make me feel a lot better about a guy like, Josh Jackson. And then, Isaiah Stewart was obviously very chalky Friday night with Mason Plumlee most likely playing here. I don't have much interest in Isaiah Stewart unless by some chance Plumlee's out again, but I'm assuming Plumlee plays, so I don't have a ton of interest in Isaiah Stewart. But then Killian Hayes, he started in place of Corey Joseph on Friday night. He had a really good game, I'm pretty sure. I think he finished with over 30 fantasy points. Yeah, had 40 fantasy points, had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, and a block. Just really good all-around game from Killian Hayes. Played 27 minutes. If Corey Joseph winds up out again, I think Killian Hayes looks like a great value play. He'll definitely be someone I go to, but I don't want to plug him into the early core just because we don't have the news yet on these Detroit guys. Regardless, though, I think Saddiq Bey is going to be someone I look to, regardless of who's in or out for Detroit. But then moving on to the Wizards side, so Russell Westbrook, once again, I think is a top stud option. He was a guy that I had a lot of interest in on Friday night, had a really good game against the Pelicans. That game went to overtime. Westbrook finished with 63 fantasy points, had played 43 minutes, was 1 assist shy of another triple-double, which kind of sucks, but still a really, really good game for Westbrook. The back-to-back, I guess, maybe is a bit worrisome just because they did play an overtime game Friday night. They did play a ton of minutes, but the Wizards are fighting for a playoff spot. I still expect Westbrook and Beal to be full go here, even on the back-to-back. So, assuming Westbrook plays here at 10,900, he is my favorite stud right now, and a guy that I do want to try and jam in on both sides. Like him on Yahoo as well at $55. He's just been so good. I mean, even with Bradley Beal playing, even with Beal back in the lineup and playing his full minutes, like Westbrook still is going out there and just stuffing the stat sheet every night, nearly triple-doubling almost every night. I don't expect anyone on Detroit to stop him. Love Russell Westbrook here. And then Bradley Beal, I don't mind either. I don't know if I'm going to get to Beal on this slate, though. There are a lot of options I do prefer over him, I think. But, we know the usage on this team is going to be dominated by Beal and Westbrook. Westbrook's obviously my favorite. Beal, you could go to as well. Now, Daniel Gafford, I do want to mention, just because he's been playing pretty well for this Washington team ever since he got picked up by them. He did play 25 minutes in their game Friday night against the Pelicans. Had a really good game, 36 fantasy points in 25 minutes. When it comes to these Washington centers, it's always tough to predict where the minutes are going to go. Like Gafford's minutes before that, he was only playing around 15 minutes a night before Friday's game. Maybe since he played so well Friday night, maybe they give him a few more minutes here. I think at some point Gafford's going to be the starting center for the Wizards. Like he's just been their best center so far. If he moves into the starting lineup, then obviously he is a top value play. But if he's still coming off the bench, it makes him a bit more risky. But he's such a productive player. He's been productive with the Wizards this year that, he only needs like 20 minutes to pay off this cheap price point. I mean, he's minimum salary on Yahoo. He's 3,500 on DK. I would say that Daniel Gafford's probably my second favorite Wizard today behind Russell Westbrook. Maybe he'll start. I think at some point he's going to start. And if that happens today, I do like Daniel Gafford a lot as a value play. But we can go ahead and move on to the next game, Cleveland and Chicago. So talking about the Cavs here, there really isn't much I like on Cleveland today. Everyone kind of feels appropriately priced. The matchup's good against a Bulls team that does play pretty fast, but no one on Cleveland stands out at their price point. Colin Sexton would probably be my favorite play from Cleveland if I had to play anyone. Kevin Love, I had some interest in last slate. He really burned me against Golden State. Only played 22 minutes, only had 17 DK points. The minutes I think are going to fluctuate from night to night with a guy like Kevin Love. Obviously, if it's a blowout, Kevin Love's going to be one of the first guys off the floor. But as long as the game stays close, I think we do get probably 30 minutes from Kevin Love. Could you go there? Yeah, but there's still some other guys I prefer over him. Overall, I don't like much on Cleveland. If I had to play anyone, it'd probably be Sexton, but even him I don't have that much interest in. So Cleveland's kind of a fade for me today. Now on the Bulls side, there's a good amount that I do like on Chicago. So Zach LaVine's going to be out for, I believe, 2 weeks. And then Satoransky, he was questionable for Friday, ultimately did not wind up playing. So Satoransky, we don't exactly know if he's going to be in or out today. With Satoransky and LaVine both out on Friday, we did see Kobe White start, and we also saw Garrett Temple draw the start as well. Kobe White's the guy that I want to talk about, though. He had a really, really good game Friday night. He became a really good play, in my opinion, once he was announced starting. He became a core play for me on DK or on Yahoo. Didn't get to him in my DK lineup, but on Yahoo, I did like him a lot. And again, he's minimum salary, looks like a top value play today, especially if he does remain in the starting lineup. He played 33 minutes, had 42 fantasy points, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Even if Tomas Satoransky plays today, I still think we get probably mid-20s minutes from Kobe White off the bench. Obviously, without LaVine, there's a ton of minutes to go around, and I do expect Kobe White to be the biggest beneficiary. He was playing really bad before this, before Friday night. He was not playing well at all. His minutes were trending down, but he had a really good game. He got more minutes. I think the minutes are going to continue to be there while LaVine remains out. And even if Satoransky plays, there's a chance they start Kobe White alongside Satoransky. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Regardless, I think Kobe White's a top option, especially on Yahoo at minimum salary. He is clearly a top value play on Yahoo. Even on DK at 5,200, though, I still like Kobe White a lot here. Obviously, I would prefer that Satoransky be out, but even if Satoransky plays, I still think Kobe White is a really, really good play here with Zach LaVine out. But then Vucevic, you could definitely look to pay up for. I think he had a really good game as well. With LaVine out, finished with 49 fantasy points in 32 minutes. I think Vooch does benefit without LaVine. It's going to get more usage. You could definitely pay up for him. Now, I'd probably rather pay for Westbrook, but depending on what kind of value we get today, if you want to go Westbrook and Vooch as your two studs, I have no problem with that. Now, Thad Young, he went back to the bench Friday. He did not play a ton of minutes, I don't think. Probably not going to be someone I go to. Only played 22 minutes. with him not starting now, if he doesn't start again, like it's just risky with Thad Young if he's not in the starting lineup. Patrick Williams, I want to take a look at what he did. I mean, I don't think he's going to be someone I consider. He did play 29 minutes, but only had 17 fantasy points. Like, overall, Patrick Williams just hasn't really been that productive of a player this season. Even with Levine out, I don't know if that changes a ton for Patrick Williams. So I don't have a ton of interest in him. Probably not going to anyone else on Chicago. Denzel Valentine I did like for value, but once it was announced that he was not starting, I did have a lot less interest in him. He didn't have that great of a game either. He only played 17 minutes off the bench, only had 12 fantasy points. Like, if he's not starting, it's just tough to predict, if he's going to even get enough minutes to pay off this price point. Troy Brown did get a few more minutes than Levine did, or than Denzel Valentine did. He played 18 and a half minutes, but only had 10 fantasy points. I mean, I'm probably not going to any of the bench guys. Like Lauri Markkanen, he played 20 minutes, only had 15 fantasy points. If I'm considering anyone on Chicago, it's going to be Kobe White, Vooch. Don't mind, like Garrett Temple if he plays here, but like, I don't know if I really want to go to Garrett Temple. He played 25 minutes. Really, for me, I think it's just White and Vooch are the two guys I really like from Chicago. Satoransky, if he plays, I think would actually be viable. Now, Daniel Tice did start. They did start him ahead of Thad Young in their game on Friday. He only played 20 minutes, though. If he starts again, I think he actually is a pretty good value play. He obviously had a bad game Friday night, but with him in the starting lineup, I think that does, you would expect him to play more minutes if he's in the starting lineup. I wouldn't expect 20 minutes again from Daniel Tice, so he could be a fine value play to go to. He's still pretty cheap on both sides. $4K on DK, $11 on Yahoo. But I think the clear top two plays from the Bulls, for me at least, are Kobe White and Nikola Vucevic. So, yeah, that does it for this game. Moving on to the next one, Golden State and Boston. So on the Warriors here, there's not a ton that I really like outside of Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green at 7,300, just continues to be underpriced on Draftkings. Like, this is someone that should be around 8K in my opinion. When he's playing his full minutes, when it's a close game and Draymond plays 36, 38 minutes, he's very likely to give you 40-plus DK points. We know Draymond's going to go out there and stuff the stat sheet, gives you triple-double upside every night. We know he can go out there and get defensive stats as well. In a game against Boston that should stay close, we should get 36, 38 minutes from Draymond. Even though the matchup's not great, he's a productive enough player that where he can give you a good score at 7,300 if he's playing his full minutes, which he should in this game that should be close. So Draymond's my favorite play for sure from this Golden State team. I do like him on Yahoo as well. Price went up a little bit, $33, but I still think he looks like a really good option on Yahoo. Curry, you could pay up for, but on this slate, I'd rather play Westbrook. I think I'd rather play Vooch for cheaper as well. Kelly Oubre is doubtful again. He's questionable. So we don't know if Oubre is going to be back or not. Even if Oubre is out again, I don't think that changes much at all. Kent Bazemore has been priced up to a point where even if Oubre's out, I don't really want to play Kent Bazemore at 5,100. So for me, honestly, it's just really Draymond Green from the Warriors and not too much else. I don't see anyone else that stands out as a top option outside of Draymond. I know Juan Toscano Anderson's been getting more minutes. He did play 31 last game. I think, without Oubre, that does benefit Juan Toscano Anderson. Obviously, James Wiseman being out is beneficial to him as well. You never know where the minutes are going to go when it comes to these bench guys from Golden State, but if you want to take a shot on JTA, I don't mind it. It feels like they would probably, most nights, they're most likely going to close with Draymond at center, which means one of these bench guys is going to be in the closing lineup, and it's probably going to be Juan Toscano Anderson, either him or Jordan Poole. Kevon Looney, even though he's starting, he's not going to play a ton of minutes. He played 28 last game, 22 the game before that. He's likely to play around, low to maybe mid-20s. So, yeah, I think Juan Toscano Anderson's a fine value, but in terms of confidence, I'm very confident in Draymond. He's obviously my favorite play from this Golden State team. Guys like Juan Toscano Anderson are just, lower-owned options that you could go to in tournaments. But moving on to the Boston side and talking about the Celtics here. So you got, the big three, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker. On this slate, I don't think any of them stand out as top plays for me. Normally, when this team's fully healthy, I rarely go out of my way to play these guys. Jaylen Brown did have a great game last game, 56 DK points in 32 minutes. Jaylen Brown is someone that has that kind of upside. He can go for 50-plus DK points any night. Price went up, though, a little bit to 8,300. Kemba Walker, 6,900. I just never play Kemba. I haven't played him much at all this season. Really, the only times I've ever played him is when one of Tatum or Brown is out. So I don't think I'm going to Kemba. Tatum you could pay up for, but on this slate, I'd rather play Vooch. I'd rather play Westbrook. I think I'd rather play Curry as well. Really, for me, if I had to play any of the big three from Boston, it would probably be Jaylen Brown. But honestly, my favorite play from this Celtics team is Tristan Thompson. So once we got word last slate that Robert Williams was out, I thought that did make Tristan Thompson a pretty good value play, and he did have a really good game. Had 30 DK points in 25 minutes. He should start again with Robert Williams already ruled out. Probably going to play around 25, close to 30 minutes. He's a productive enough player at 4,500. If he's getting anywhere near 30 minutes, he can easily pay off this price point. He's a guy that can score, can get rebounds, can get some assists, can get defensive stats. He just does a little bit of everything. He'll do enough to where he can easily pay off this price. So right now, with no standout value, I think Tristan Thompson is a guy that does look like a pretty good value play. If you are looking for a cheap center option, I think he looks like a really solid play once again. And also super cheap on Yahoo. Do like him over there, $12 at the center position. No Robert Williams. Clearly Tristan Thompson the beneficiary there. But that does it for this one. Moving on to the next game, Memphis and Milwaukee. So on Memphis here, I don't really see a ton that stands out from the Grizzlies. J-Val's been playing really well. I think he came back down to earth Friday night. He didn't have that good of a game, but if you want to go to J-Val here, don't mind him at all. 7,900, he feels appropriately priced. He's been crushing lately. He's been getting big minutes. He did play, I think he played pretty big minutes once again on Friday night. Let me see. Yeah, he played 31 minutes. He wasn't that productive, only 31 fantasy points, but if they're going to give J-Val 32, 34 minutes a night, he has the upside to pay off 7,900. John Morant, though, I don't think I can go there. He just hasn't been that good lately. I don't think he really had that good of a game Friday night either. Yeah, only had 27 fantasy points in 32 minutes. I just don't want to roster John Morant. He's just burned me so much this season. So really for me on this Memphis team, it's J-Val. And then I do want to talk about Kyle Anderson. So we did get word Friday that Brandon Clark was out. He got ruled out with a hip injury. We have no idea if he's going to be in or out for Saturday's game. If he's out again, that does benefit Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson did have a really good game Friday night with Brandon Clark out. Did play a pretty good amount of minutes. Only played 24 minutes, which was kind of surprising. But he was really productive. Had 38 fantasy points, 6 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Kyle Anderson, he's a productive player. He's been really productive on a point-per-minute basis this year with the Grizzlies. The minutes, I think, are going to be higher, and they're going to be more secure when you take Brandon Clark off the floor. So if Brandon Clark is out again, I do actually like Kyle Anderson a good amount. He'd probably be my favorite play from this Grizzlies team, followed by J-Val. But that's probably it for me from Memphis. Moving on to the Milwaukee side, not much here outside of Giannis. On this slate, I think I prefer Westbrook over Giannis, but anytime Giannis is on a slate, I do have interest in him. Will note, though, that in his first game back from injury, last game against Atlanta, he did only play 25 minutes. He was obviously on a minutes limit. There was no word of him being limited, but obviously he was limited, only wound up playing 25 minutes. Assuming that Giannis is not limited again, you can throw him up with Westbrook in terms of top pay-up options. Now, I do feel better about Westbrook. Vooch, it'd be close between Vooch or Giannis in terms of second favorite stud for me. But anytime Giannis is on a slate, he's someone I have interest paying up for. Just today, though, I do prefer Westbrook over him. But it drew in Middleton's price points. I'm not going to them. With Giannis back, I have no interest in Drew or Middleton at their prices. Dante DiVincenzo's out again. Bryn Forbes didn't start. He did start in place of DiVincenzo, but he only played 22 minutes, only had 14 fantasy points. I don't think I'm going to him here, even if he starts again. So really, it's just Giannis for me if he's not limited, and then nothing else from Milwaukee. Moving on to the last game of the night, though, San Antonio and Phoenix. So on San Antonio here, really nothing I like from the Spurs. This is a back-to-back for the Spurs, so do keep an eye on that. The Spurs have been kind of funky when it comes to back-to-backs. Sometimes they'll rest some guys, sometimes they won't. But if everyone plays here, there's really nothing that stands out from the Spurs side. If I had to play anyone on San Antonio, it would probably be Dejounte Murray. But overall, this is probably up there with Cleveland. Cleveland and San Antonio are probably my two least favorite teams on this slate. Just nothing stands out from San Antonio today, at least not for me. Now on the Phoenix side, a little bit more here that I like. Devin Booker, Chris Paul. Don't mind them. If I had to play one, I think it would be Chris Paul. Normally, I always prefer Paul over Booker. Will mention, though, that on Yahoo, Booker is a shooting guard, and the shooting guard position's not that great on Yahoo. You have Beal you could pay up for. You have Booker. But, do I really want to play Andrew Wiggins or Derek White or, Grayson Allen? The shooting guard position does kind of suck on Yahoo, so I could definitely see paying up for Booker on Yahoo just given how bad shooting guard is. But on DK, I think I would rather play Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton, I don't mind at 6,800. If you're looking for a mid-range center option, I think he looks like one of the best plays. He's just been getting the minutes lately, and he's been really productive. if Ayton's going to play 30, 32 minutes a night like he has been recently, he's going to be a guy that consistently puts up 35, 40-plus DK points. Matchup against San Antonio, I'm not really scared of. So overall, I would say Ayton's probably my favorite play from Phoenix, followed by Chris Paul. And then Devin Booker, I do like on Yahoo, just given the lack of options at shooting guard. But that probably does it for the Suns team. I don't think I'm considering anyone else outside of the top three. So yeah, I think that does it for all 5 games on this slate, guys. I do appreciate you guys watching the video, as always, and I appreciate your support. Be sure to hit that like button down below before you do get out of here. Hit that subscribe button as well, and be sure to click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. Since it is the weekend, I don't know if I'll be live Saturday or not, but if I do go live, I should be live around 5 Eastern for a little bit of a later live stream, given, we have given locks a little bit later tonight at 8 o'clock. But good luck on the slate, guys. If I don't see you in the live stream Saturday, I should have a video up for Sunday slate, so I'll see you guys then. Best of luck. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.